It's been a great honour to be here today to listen to some absolutely fascinating, and really we feel very proud that you should support the Charlie Waller Memorial Trust. But I'm just going to tell you very briefly about it. That's if I can operate the machine. Right. Our eldest son took his own life at the age of 28. That's now just over 20 years ago. We knew nothing about the statistics that were out there that when we learned a little bit more. Suicide, the biggest killer of young men. Statistics are quite difficult, I think. I don't know how people measure them, but in those days they were saying 1 in 4 in your lifetime people will suffer from mental ill health. 1 in 10 in any room. Now I think it's down at 1 in 6. And so the only important thing that we learned then is how high on the agenda mental ill health was. And we also learned that nobody was talking about it. One of the reasons Charlie did what he did was that he didn't talk to anybody. Nobody recognized the symptoms that he was suffering from, and he was suffering from symptoms, as we learned later. For example, he wasn't sleeping. For example, he wasn't eating properly. For example, he was blaming himself for mistakes that he wasn't actually making. These were all signs that none of his friends and none of his family knew. So we decided to form this trust in order to try and educate particularly young people in the symptoms of depression. And his advertising industry colleagues produced our first effort, which I think will now be on the screen, which is our road signs. And they just identify the symptoms of people unwell. And it's not necessarily just that you're feeling down. There are all sorts of other symptoms that, if they persist for a length of time, indicate depression or anxiety. Of course, the fascinating thing is, in those days we had to bang on the doors of schools and universities and employers to let us in. And many of them said, oh, no, we don't. We mustn't start talking about depression, anxiety, things like that, mental illness. You'll frighten the parents, and and employers, they said, if we went to the senior people, they said, well, there's somebody down over there who deals with these sort of things. And the same at universities. We went back to Durham, and Durham had a wonderful corridor where people could go, and a lot of our material was up on the corridor. But I went back to see Charlie's old college and the principal, and I said to the principal, we're here because Charlie Waller Memorial Trust, and you've got a lot of material. She said, what? Charlie Waller Memorial? I don't know anything about that. I said, well, you've got this corridor with a lot of our material on depression and anxiety and teaching. No, she said, that's nothing to do with me. And I went then to see the Vice Chancellor, because I said, look, it is absolutely vital that people start talking about these things. And he said, oh, look, sorry, mental health isn't anything to do with me. I run the university. Now, things have changed dramatically. Thank goodness. There's still a lot to do, but they've changed. And in the result now, we are going to more and more places. We went to something like 700 schools last year, and these are the figures of the people that we've been reaching, and we are producing quite a lot of materials. What we do for free. I've always been very keen on the idea that this is a charitable objective to get the message out there and to get people trained, and so we do it for free. Hopefully sometimes employers or schools or universities may give us a donation, and we hope that they do, but essentially being supported by persons such as yourselves is absolutely vital to what we do. The next slide just simply shows the sort of costs. If we can raise the money, what we can do. And the reason I'm stressed is that I'm meant to be at a meeting at 5 minutes' time in Hammersmith, because this fantastic show is being put on. It has an afternoon performance at 4 p.m. and an evening performance at 8 p.m. It's the best of rock musicals, and it is in aid of the Charlie Waller Memorial Trust. And if we can fill the theatre, it will, on both occasions, it will raise a great deal of money for us. If we fail to fill the theatre, it's going to cost money, not, I say, to the charity. We're very lucky to have people who've done a bit of the sponsoring, so that it won't damage the charity. But the importance of getting the theatres filled on both occasions is enormous. And so I'm going to ask you as a favour, go out there, buy some tickets, come to the rock musicals, and now I better get off to the meeting. Thank you very much for having me.